secularism to uphold these principles. So, under these circumstances, there was no reason why he should have gone against the oath. And if he has gone against the oath, then there is some action that needs to be taken. What action, that is for everyone to decide. I don't know, there has to be some kind of an in-house inquiry also, that people should do something about it. But how will anybody expect justice? A person coming to Allahabad High Court, suppose if there was a conflict of interest between two communities, obviously one community would feel, that he'd already won the case before the case was decided by him. And the other community would feel, he's lost the case even before it has been heard. So that's how it is. And he's not come for that.
No, so what you're saying, what you're talking about the Aarti episode where Chandrachud was found doing the Ganesh Aarti along with the Prime Minister, and which is why now the judges are emboldened and they think that they can do anything, they can say anything and they can get away.
I would think, that if the Chief Justice of India can get away with it, if the Chief Justice of India has not bothered to respect the line which has to be drawn between the executive and the judiciary, or the legislature or the judiciary, if he does not respect that, why should I?
But you cannot tell me that a judge should not talk like this. He goes to the extent of making a statement like that. Now, what does one make of this?
He does not deserve to be a judge. That's all I can say. He does not deserve, and he has to be stopped at this point. He has to be stopped at this point. So, he is not taken as an example for other errant judges or other people, other errant whoever would-be's, waiting in the line.
So is apology also one option which Supreme Court might look at?
He could look at it, but if I was the person who had to decide the apology, I would reject it.
How is he going to really face the court now? I'm just wondering about that.
How are the others going to face the court? Think about this. How are the litigants going to face the court? I mean, the whole pointlessness of having a judge, whole pointlessness of having a judiciary. These people make the whole thing very pointless. The whole system, the institution has become pointless.
Hello and a warm welcome to HW News Network, your one-stop show, truth be told, for some engaging and thought-provoking conversations. Sitting judge of Allahabad High Court, Justice Shekhar Yadav, has made some controversial comments. And to say that it's controversial is also an understatement, because he has made some unpardonable slurs against the Muslim community by using certain pejorative terms. Now, what has happened after that? Supreme Court has taken cognizance after lawyers, civil society people, they objected to it. They wrote to the Supreme Court. Supreme Court has asked for his speech, which is very much available on the social media and YouTube as well. And now Parliament is mulling over an impeachment motion against him. In Rajya Sabha, veteran lawyer and independent Rajya Sabha MP Kapil Sibal is thinking of bringing in impeachment motion. And in Lok Sabha, Srinagar Lok Sabha MP Ruhullah Mehdi is also thinking of submitting a notice seeking removal of Justice Shekhar Yadav. Now, is Justice Shekhar Yadav, if I were to ask you very frankly, is he a blot on the judiciary? And if this temple of democracy, which is judiciary, has been violated, how can it be purified now? Joining me now is former Patna High Court judge, Madam Anjana Prakash. Thank you so much, ma'am, for joining this evening. And my very first question, what are your thoughts on Mr. Shekhar Yadav's comments, who's the sitting judge of the Allahabad High Court?
I would think that it is very, very unfortunate that he's made some remarks and in a public forum which was being held within the premises of the Allahabad High Court. So firstly, he should not have attended a political party meeting, and how it was held in the court premises, that is also, that is very not the usual done thing. I've never heard a political party holding any meeting within the court premises. So this also is very objectionable. And of course, what he says is even more objectionable. And I'm glad that people are all talking about it and condemning such an act.
Uh, but he's used some pejorative words. I mean, I find it very humiliating. To use that word also, it looks very bad. The way he called the Muslim communities "katmullahs," and one could not have imagined that a judge uses that kind of a language. Now, what does it show? Does it show a pervert mind using that language? Does it show that the judge did not value the oath which he took? And was it also not a violation of the code of conduct of judges?
See, Nilu, as I look at it, a person can have allegiance both mentally and physically, where mental allegiance to a particular thought or a process is concerned, that cannot be controlled by an outer body. But the physical control, but the physical allegiance to such a thing can be controlled and should be controlled. Now, when this person became a judge, he took an oath that he would uphold the principles of the Constitution, which guaranteed freedom, fraternity, secularism, to uphold these principles. So, under these circumstances, there was no reason why he should have gone against the oath. And if he has gone against the oath, then there is some action that needs to be taken. What action, that is for everyone to decide. I don't know. There has to be some kind of an in-house inquiry also. People should do something about it. The judiciary should do something about it.
So who will conduct this in-house inquiry? Is it now, that responsibility has to be taken up by the Supreme Court because they've taken cognizance?
Yes. The Chief Justice of India can take such a step, or even the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court can take such a step. Because, see, the whole thing is that fortunately or unfortunately, the High Court is not a subordinate of the Supreme Court. And therefore, in administrative matters, Supreme Court has very little to say about such things. But at the same time, the Chief Justice of India, being the guardian of the judiciary, he is expected to act on this. And therefore, I would think that either he should have an in-house inquiry, or should ask the Chief Justice of Allahabad to hold such an inquiry.
What do you think? Do you think that a judge like Justice Shekhar Yadav should be sitting anymore on the seat of a judge? Or should he just be impeached, and that's the only thing, and that's the only punishment which he can get at the moment?
There is there is an in-between stopgap arrangement also that can be done. There have been instances where corrupt judges or judges who have been, acting in a strange manner, not, this is also in a way, I would say corruption, because if you're siding with one party and all that, this is also corruption, I would think. And that apart, what happened? That apart, I would think that for the present, administratively, the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court can debar him from holding court. He can do it. This kind of a stopgap arrangement has been done earlier, and it should be done in his case, I would think.
But
how will anybody expect justice? A person coming to Allahabad High Court, suppose if there was a conflict of interest between two communities, obviously one community would feel, that he'd already won the case before the case was decided by him. And the other community would feel, he's lost the case even before it has been heard. So that's
Absolutely.
how it is. And he's not come for that. Justice means
So you are
justice
saying
to be fair.
So you are saying that according to you, the first step should be that the Allahabad High Court, the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court, should debar him from the services.
From doing any judicial work. This
Okay.
has been done earlier. It can be done. This is a stopgap arrangement, because We all know that the impeachment process takes a long time, and
Hmm.
that could, in the meanwhile, he could do a lot of damage. So I would think that administratively, the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court can act against him and can ask him only to do administrative work and no judicial work be allotted to him.
Right. But, ma'am, this is a deep, deep malady one needs to talk about. That, why are the judges feeling the need to attend? I'm saying, why are the judges feeling the need to attend functions like that of VHP? What do you think must have been on the mind of Justice Shekhar Yadav? Why he addressed on the majoritarian agenda? He insulted the Muslim community, looked down upon them, and then delivered such a big hate speech.
Uh, a few days back, when you interviewed me, Neelu, you'd asked me whether the Chief Justice of India, talking the way he did and behaving the way he did, whether it affected the rest of the judiciary. And I had said that no, judiciary is not a monolith, and therefore, what the Chief Justice of India does, it's not necessary the other judges will emulate him. But to some extent, I think it was a very simple answer. Simple answer in the sense that what happens is that it is like I'll just draw a parallel to it. That suppose if a person is corrupt and he keeps getting promotions, the other people who are honest, they think that, oh, despite his corruption, he's still rising high. So why should I bother about honesty? So it's, by Chief Justice of India, what he did, Chandrachud, what he did, he set an example, that for others to follow, that you can also get away with it. That is the problem. He's given a cue that even if you act like this, you can get away with it, which
No,
is,
so what you're saying, what you were talking about the Aarti episode where Chandrachud was found doing the Ganesh Aarti along with the Prime Minister, and which is why now the judges are emboldened and they think that they can do anything, they can say anything, and they can get away.
I would think, that if the Chief Justice of India can get away with it, if the Chief Justice of India has not bothered to respect the line which has to be drawn between the executive and the judiciary, or the legislature or the judiciary, if he does not respect that, why should I? And he still, the Chief Justice of Chandrachud still thinks that he is some, man of God, that he gave the judgment, etc. So that's how it is.
But Justice Anjana Prakash, what do you think must have been on the mind of Justice Shekhar Yadav? And many people have started attributing political motives as well, because his retirement is due sometimes in 2026. 2027 is the year when Uttar Pradesh will be going to polls. So was he addressing a constituency where maybe through VHP he's trying to look for a post-retirement benefit, maybe an entry into politics? What could be the motive?
No, I don't think, he would be driven by motives to such a far off thing, that 2 years later, what is going to happen and all. He must be having a background to it. There is no doubt about it. I don't know this person, otherwise, personally, nor have I checked his credentials on the net as to what he was before he was elevated. He's a direct appointee, I'm told. So he must have had similar kind of activities even while he was a lawyer. It's not like this suddenly he's become a judge and suddenly, this has been happening. I don't think there
No,
must
but
be a
when
background to it.
you're saying this, there must be a background, but what kind of a background check then is needed before appointing the judges? If that is, I mean,
Exactly.
background is a serious issue.
Exactly. This is the point that I'm driving at, that there has to be, the IB gives a report. How authentic is the IB report? Isn't the IB supposed to report and say that he has political affiliations? That it would be dangerous, for him to be elevated. If you can do background check on everything else, his finances and his family, etc., why not all this? The social activities, the political activities, that also comes to count.
No, but what should be the criteria then before appointing judges? Now, many people say, I mean, people have started talking about the fact that does he know Constitution? When he's so unmindful of the Constitution, and why did he make such a daring statement? And so people have started talking like that. So, what should be the criteria before appointing any judge?
certainly if somebody else, somebody else was talking like this, you would condone it. You would think that obviously he doesn't know the constitution and he's talking. But when you think, here is a sitting judge who's talking like this, then you think, does he know the constitution or not? Has he read the constitution? It doesn't seem so. He doesn't know the constitution. And if he doesn't know such a basic thing as the constitution, how did he take an oath on the constitution? How was he appointed as a judge? What were his credentials?
But if you look at the excerpts of his speech, which are available on the social media, he has said that while he's talking about the majoritarian agenda, and he says that the country will run according to the majority, and he says this so daringly that he says that I am a high court judge, but you cannot tell me that a judge should not talk like this. He goes to the extent of making a statement like that. Now, what does one make of this?
He does not deserve to be a judge. That's all I can say. He does not deserve, and he has to be stopped at this point. He has to be stopped at this point. So, he is not taken as an example for other errant judges or other people, other errant, whoever would be's, waiting in the line.
But, I mean, the judges making such a communal statement, is it becoming a pattern now, or do you think that this is something unprecedented which you've not heard ever before in your career?
Frankly speaking, I've never heard of such a thing ever before. Chandrachud was one person who, I think he was an eye-opener for me. And after that, this person. I have heard of people retiring and then joining, as we saw, a political party like we saw in the West Bengal. But this is, this is strange. You may talk like this in your personal space, but not in public spaces.
But is this a very dangerous trend where the judges have started expressing their political leanings on the public domain and they have no qualms about it? I haven't seen any apology or anything so far. And in fact, what my question is that, is can this become a pattern now for the other judges?
It would be very unfortunate if it becomes a pattern, and therefore the Chief Justice of India needs to step in and stop this from becoming a pattern.
But Justice Anjana Prakash, I was just reading, the statement made by Vishwa Hindu Parishad Chief Alok Kumar, and he has rejected the opposition's criticism for attending and speaking at a VHP event, and he has asserted that such awareness meets would continue to be organized. Now, what does this show?
He may organize it. The question is, the point of dispute is the attendees. Whether or not people, in high offices who are supposed to be completely impartial and fair, and secular, are going to attend such meetings. They can, they can organize. See, there is a difference between a political party, a political agenda, etc., etc. They will always do it. There is no, there is no check or there is no stop on them. But where, the check is, that is upon a public functionary.
No, but all these SOPs are already there as part of the code of conduct, and it's already laid down very clearly. But if the judges are willfully violating it, so what is the need of the hour now? Since Supreme Court has taken cognizance of it, should they lay down some fresh principles? Should they lay down some fresh guidelines just to send out a message to the other judges so that a thing like this is not repeated?
I would think so. I would think, just as the Bangalore principles were set down, I think now is the time when a fresh charter of principles be circulated among judges on their conduct in public spaces.
But coming back to the impeachment motion now, ma'am, the big question is that, the motion or the resolution can be moved in both houses, but will it be accepted? And will the ruling party will it support such an impeachment motion?
Of course not. The ruling party, why should it support such an impeachment? Obviously.
So you think BJP will not support?
The point is not whether the impeachment motion is going to be defeated or not. The point is acting upon it, and that's what's essential. When you stand up, for something which is right, That's the gesture one has to make.
No, but Justice Anjana Prakash, I'm just looking at that stage where this entire impeachment will reach the level of the debate, and once the debate starts on this, uh, I mean, it's like a genie coming out of the bottle. It'll be like so many things. It's going to be RSS's ideology, the communalization of the judiciary, and a whole lot of things. So there'll be a lot of egg on the face of the BJP as well as RSS. So will BJP now try and contain this impeachment motion anyhow?
They will try to, but it would not be in their interest, I would think, because it is not always that they are going to be in the majority in the government. They will someday, as political what complexions change, there is a likelihood of them somebody else, becoming the chief minister, the prime minister, etc. What will happen then when the BJP becomes, comes in opposition? So it's always safer to have the judiciary as an independent institution. It's in the benefit of, it's in the benefit of all, not only the country, but I would think, in the scheme of the constitution, it's very essential to do it.
But ma'am,
And the
what
motion should
happens?
be defeated.
Right. So, what I'm asking is that what if the parliament fails to take up this impeachment motion and nothing happens? Then who is going to take action against this sitting judge?
See, according to the rules and regulations, it's only the judge can be only impeached. Nothing else can be done. But as I said, there is a stopgap arrangement that people have evolved by not giving him any judicial work. But that is for the Chief Justice of India and the Chief Justice of Allahabad High Court to decide.
No, but then there are other options also on which I'm sure Supreme Court would be mulling that maybe he can be transferred from the Allahabad High Court. Judicial suspension of the judicial work, as you said, is one option. Or Supreme Court can recommend the impeachment, before the impeachment motion is imposed. What could be the probability?
Never been. I've never heard of a situation when the Supreme Court has, recommended the impeachment. And as for the other thing is, transfer. We tend to think, the transfer can change the person. What makes you think, that this person going to Bihar will not be acting similarly? Obviously, he's shown his full colors and he's shown that he's not fit for judicial work. So why put him, in another high court and allow him to do the same thing? The best thing would be, to withdraw all judicial work from him.
But what about the option of apology? Many would say that, like, you remember that Karnataka High Court judge who apologized for the mistakes and the kind of comments he made, and ultimately he had to apologize after Supreme Court intervened. So, is apology also one option which Supreme Court might look at?
Good. He could look at it, but if I was if I was the person who had to decide the apology, I would reject it.
So,
It's
apology,
completely
according
a
to you, that apology is not enough. Apology is not enough for
not
a
enough.
statement to
It's
make.
not enough. It's not enough because the apology is not going to inspire any faith in the system. You see, this person has said something. Now it's a very loose kind of a talk. I would think, it is a very, it's not, an educated person's, mind working on this. It's not. It's a totally, what do you say? It's a very, uh, not honorable at all, Does not suit a person of high office to be talking like this.
How is he going to really face the court now? I'm just wondering about that.
How are the others going to face the court? Think about this. How are the litigants going to face the court?
True.
The
Absolutely.
court is made for the litigants, not for the judges. The judges are not, meant for anything else but to give justice. So they're supposed to work for the litigants. How do you think, the litigants are going to take this?
Are you hopeful that
He's
Supreme Court will
lowered his
take?
esteem. He's lowered his esteem to an extent when he does not deserve to be a judge, I would think.
But, ma'am, are you hopeful that Supreme Court could take a stern action? I mean, ultimately, of course, impeachment is the only way out to punish him, and that's the sternest of actions one could look at. But what if I'm talking about the ambit of the Supreme Court, what is the strictest punishment that could be meted out to him through the Supreme Court?
The court has done, things like this. The Supreme Court has acted against judges. I remember that one person, from an errant judge from Madras High Court, who was ultimately transferred, I think, to West Bengal, and then he did all kinds of things there, and all judicial work was withdrawn from him. So the Supreme Court has acted, in earlier occasions in such matters which were found objectionable. And you have to remember at the end of it, who's the end user? It's the litigant. The courts are for the litigants. How the litigants going to look at it?
Absolutely. But if the litigant is a Muslim, how is he going to react? Maybe when, I mean, I'm talking about the cases which will come in Uttar Pradesh first, to the Allahabad High Court. What could you see happening in Uttar Pradesh currently post Justice Shekhar Yadav's comments?
What is going to happen even before Shekhar Yadav's case? There have been, the judiciary has been acting very strangely. Has been acting, especially. I was just, listening or reading about this Sambal, that
Yes.
mosque thing,
Yes.
mosque dispute, and how quickly the judiciary appointed an inquiry, and how quickly everyone went for a survey, etc. It showed, that the court was complicit with, one of the parties. So you see such dishonesty in judicial matters. That was a judicial order that he had passed. You see such complicity, which is completely against the law. And then you see this behavior of this judge, who matches with this kind of scheme of scheme of things, which is now being accepted as something which is normal. As you said, the VHP said that we will continue to hold, and this is quite normal, and he's very honorable and all that to have said this. Now this is the new norm now.
Right. But if this is a new norm, is this not the lowest which the judiciary could stoop? And as you said that there you haven't seen any such case in your career of the judge, of a sitting judge making a hate speech like this. What more levels of lowness are we going to see in judiciary?
We are yet to see that now. We are yet to see that. But, I mean,
Since you,
the whole pointlessness of having a judge,
hmm,
whole pointlessness of having a judiciary. These people make the whole thing very pointless. The whole system, the institution has become pointless.
absolutely. But since you
It's not
connect, I mean, you cited Sambal's example, and then you also tried to connect it with the entire system, and the entire ecosystem which is there, in which the judges have become a part of it. There are political directions. You have affiliate organizations like VHP, always encouraging these sort of things. Do you think that this rot can be stemmed anyhow till the time you have a government like that of BJP, and you have these fringe elements from VHP, Bajrang Dal, all very active and forming this entire ecosystem?
No, I think it can be stopped. Why not? There are so many right-minded people. Obviously, it can be stopped. Why not? You just have to stand up and say that this is wrong.
Right.
All that we need is, some kind of a check somewhere, and somebody must say this. If you stand up against something which is unjust, injustice will not prevail.
But what I have seen in the past, like Bilkis Banu case, the rapists were garlanded, they were served sweets. I'm just wondering, and I'm talking about a situation which is going to be very real politically. And is there a possibility that this judge might be rewarded with a maybe an election ticket, or maybe a plum posting which he might get, just for the simple reason that he said a thing like this?
Public memory is very short. The political parties also use people. We also know that they use people and throw them off once their agenda is fulfilled. So who will remember, that 2 years later, 3 years later, that this fellow was a great supporter of the BJP politics or VHP politics? People might not remember then. There may be so many others by then, Like somebody said, all this is hydra headed. So many of them will come up then. How many will you have what? Reward.
Absolutely. My last question to you, ma'am, is that, over this entire episode, this obviously doesn't leave a very good taste in the mouths of the people, who love to be in a democratic nation, who love to see the institutions working normally, impartially. What would you really say to this episode towards the end?
What have we achieved at the end of it? I just think, that we make so much of our democracy and this and that, 75 years of democracy, this, that, What have we achieved? Does somebody even give it a
By the way, we are going to have a discussion in Parliament on the Constitution, 75th year of the Constitution in both houses.
तो क्या मतलब what are you what people should just sit down and search their hearts and think कि what is it that we've achieved. Just talking about it doesn't mean anything. Please, if you're in the legal service circles, then please see what we've achieved on the judicial side. If you're on the executive side, please evaluate as to where we have gone, how much we've progressed. And the legislature also, what kind of laws is it making? Is it people friendly, not friendly? Is it pushing people away from from the lawmaking organs or the law shielding organs? Because at one time what had happened was that people used to think that so many cases being lodged in courts is actually a bad sign. But then somebody pointed out it shows that there's faith in the government, in the faith in the judiciary, and therefore people file cases. After a while, when you become completely disenchanted by this institution, people will stop filing cases or asking for justice before the courts. They will solve their problem somewhere else, as it happens. All these lynch mobs and panchayats and cup panchayats, etc. What are they doing? Giving you quick justice.
Absolutely. Very unfortunate, though.
The relevance of the institution, you'll have to consider, you'll have to think, what is the future? Absolutely. What have you achieved?
Very unfortunate, though, but let's see what kind of action is being taken against Justice Shekhar Yadav.
I just hope something is done.
Thank you so much, ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thank you so much for joining on HW. Thank you very much.
Stay ahead with our cutting-edge news app. Instantly access the latest shorts in just 1 minute and breaking news in just 50 words. Download now for a smarter, faster news experience.